So a friend messaged me a few days ago and asked, John, should I switch to a pay per appointment agency? He's having trouble scaling right now, and he figured a pay per lead or a pay per appointment offer would actually be easier to sell. So I decided I would put this video together and break down all of the pros and all of the cons. If you're new here, my name's John Daines. I scaled my first agency from $0 to $2 million per year in 10 months with that agency, closed 771 clients, and collected over $5 million in cash. Now I'm the founder at agencyclients.com, and I work one-on-one with agency owners to help them do the same. Let's dive into my screen and run through all the pros and all the cons. So should you switch to a pay per lead or pay per appointment agency model? A lot of people are asking me this right now. But there's something that nobody is telling you, especially the people that are peddling this model online and saying that it's the next best thing, which is before you touch your offer, you have to diagnose the actual problem. So the symptom that you're likely feeling right now, or that my friend who reached out to me and asked me this question, who is the reason that I'm putting this video together, is that sales feel hard. You're getting on calls, and maybe you're not even getting on that many calls in the first place, but the calls that you are getting on, the people are skeptical. They're telling you that they have to think about it. They're not sure. They're talking to other companies. There's a million objections that they pull out. So your guess or your diagnosis of your problem is, hey, it's my offer. Like if I had a pay per appointment or pay per lead offer that removed all of the risk, then I would be closing these deals left and right. So the prescription that a lot of people take is to switch to pay per lead or pay per appointment. And it's tempting because this feels like it's easier to sell. And it feels that way because you carried the risk instead of your client. So the idea is, well, if you only pay per result that you get, everybody in theory should say yes. And so you say, hey, if I take on all the risk, why wouldn't someone say yes? And then that feels like the fix. But we don't typically go any deeper when we make these kind of emotional decisions like this, because your offer at the end of the day is just one component of why people actually buy things. Like, put agency services out the window. When someone buys something, the offer is only one component of why they buy that thing. And of course, I talk about all the time on this channel and all the time with my one-on-one partners that having a good offer is extremely important. But the fix is not always to just completely change it and burn it all down and build it back up. And really, a misdiagnosis of your problem can lead to the wrong solution. And this happens time and time again with agency owners who I speak to, which is they misdiagnose their problem and then they apply the wrong solution. So just to be clear, I don't hate these models. This isn't that video. This is not the video to say pay per lead or pay per appointment doesn't work. Really, the point here is just to say, in most cases, misdiagnosing your problem almost always leads you to the wrong fix. Whether that's switching to pay per appointment or it's a myriad of other things in your agency, if you misdiagnose your problem, you're going to lead yourself into the wrong solution. So the real problem that you're experiencing and the reason that pay per appointment or pay per lead looks so attractive is you have a trust, traffic, or sales problem. But the wrong solution to that is to rip out the whole offer, because your problem of not having enough trust, not having enough traffic, and not closing enough sales will not be fixed, at least will not be fully fixed, by just changing your offer. So the result of that is going to be that your problem is still there. And there's really four things. There's four reasons why people buy agency services in the first place. This really applies to buying anything, but specifically agency services. Number one is trust. A lot of people don't talk about this, but the person that you're selling to, the person you're selling that service to, whether it's a roofer or a realtor or a financial advisor, they have to believe that you can actually deliver the outcome that they want. And a lot of times, the reason people aren't booking appointments with you, or the reason people are giving you those ridiculous objections on sales calls, like, I gotta think about it, or I gotta talk to my wife, or they're telling you they have this new business partner that you just learned about at the end of the call, that's simply because they don't trust you. And we live in a very kind, kind of gentle society where nobody's just gonna straight up look you in the face and say, hey man, I just don't trust you and I think you're a scammer. So they give you a myriad of these other kind of smokescreen objections. So there's that, there's trust. And really a lot of your problems right now are likely coming from the fact that your prospects just simply don't trust you. But from there, your offer. Your offer is extremely important. Don't hear what I'm not saying, that a good offer obviously will help you close more deals. I have many videos on the channel about this specific topic, and I believe it is a big lever you can pull with your agency, but it's only one piece of the pie. Because even the best offer needs your prospect to trust you in order for them to buy it. And then there's marketing. So like, how consistently can you fill your calendar with qualified appointments? If your marketing is not good, if your outreach isn't good, if your paid ads that you're running isn't good and high quality and really conveying that your prospect should trust you, just simply swapping out your offer isn't going to solve that problem. And then finally, we have your sales. Do you have a dialed in sales process that consistently closes deals? Because as an example, if you have no fundamental idea how to do a sales call, if you're not properly running discovery, if you don't have a streamlined pitch that you're taking them through, if you don't have a process where you get on and really do the same thing every single time, then just switching to a pay per appointment offer isn't going to solve that problem. So if you have no trust, if you have no consistent appointments and you have no dialed in sales process, again, changing to pay per lead or pay per appointment isn't going to fix that problem. And pay per lead and pay per appointment is really just a risk reversal. And adding a risk reversal is an amazing thing, but it's only one small piece of a much bigger pie. And the rest is trust, marketing, and sales. So if you switch, this isn't the only way to carry the risk. Like, you have to understand, there's other risk reversals that you can add to your offer that are less risky for you and actually still deliver that exact same outcome to your clients. And specifically with my realtor offer, we actually ran a form of pay per appointment, but we got paid up front and didn't have to front the ad spend for the client, which is really cool. So this is just an example of getting creative and how even if your offer is solid and you have a pay per appointment offer, you have a reverse pay per appointment offer, kind of like I had, well, look, you still have to get appointments on the calendar. You still have to have a solid sales process. Your prospects still have to trust you. They still have to look you up online and you look good. And so I'm going to run you through my offer, but remember, these things are extremely important. So if you just rip this off and you don't bring any of the other things with it, well, it's not going to work for you. So our service fee was $24.97 per month. The ad spend was an additional $30 per day, and the prospect was guaranteed 30 appointments in 16 weeks. So over the course of the term, the client would spend around $10,000 in service fees. They would additionally pay for that ad spend. Now, this is a question that a lot of people ask. Well, how do you convince the client to pay for the ad spend? This is another person, funny enough, that was thinking about switching to pay per appointment asked me the other day. And I said, well, because very simply, they pay for the ad spend because the leads are theirs. So when a prospect would ask us on a sales call, well, why do I have to pay the ad spend, or what's the ad spend about? The ad spend is going to generate you leads, and you get to keep those leads forever. They're your property, which is why we have you spend your money on those leads. We're not going to do anything with them, if we eventually do stop working together. And so the prospect is spending 10 grand in service fees, and they're being guaranteed 30 appointments. And from there, we actually had what we call a prorated or pro rata refund of $333 per appointment. So we would get paid up front. The prospect would complete their 16-week term, and then whatever we missed on the guarantee, we would then give back to them. So as an example, if they only got 20 appointments out of the 30 that they were owed, they would be given a refund of $3,333. And so the model actually gives the prospect that exact same risk reversal, and we get paid up front, which is just absolutely beautiful. And the client gets to keep their leads forever because they're paying for the ad spend like we just talked about. So we get paid up front. We don't carry the ad spend risk, but the prospect actually has the same risk reversal on their end. If they miss an appointment, they get their money back, and we actually don't have to carry that downside. So literally everyone wins. So pay per appointment, a common misconception, kind of a common lie in the space right now, is that it opens you up somehow to new clients, right? Like, people are like, well, I'm getting broke leads, I'm getting people on sales calls that don't have any money, which most of the time, generally speaking, is a lie. They're just telling you they don't have money, but they actually do, or they could find the money somewhere if they trusted that your offer had the ability to make them more money. People have this idea that, like, hey, if they pay per appointment, well, guess what? They're gonna somehow pay less. But then the idea is also that they're going to pay more, which is kind of a contradiction that doesn't make sense. But if someone pays per appointment, they still need the funds available to pay you for the appointments that you book. So you still have to sell to people with money. And the thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me is a lot of people are now selling packages where it's like you get 10 or 15 or 20 appointments up front. I actually think that's better than just selling one-off per appointment, because it's a lot of setup and a lot of work. But the client and the prospect still has to have money. And so the idea is, like, they'll pay you from deals that they close. then you're kind of playing the bank in a way and extending them a loan. So I don't know about you, but I prefer to work with clients who actually have money and have the ability to pay me, and who, when they work with me, they're not like throwing a Hail Mary and we have to like hit it out of the park for them, in a matter of days, otherwise they're not gonna be able to pay. So you're not opening yourself up to really any new market when you run pay per appointment, because you still have to get clients that can actually pay you. So the beauty of the offer that I ran specifically, it had all of the upside of pay per appointment, but I got all of the cash up front. So my offer gave the clients the exact benefits that pay per appointment offers, where I carried nowhere near the risk. I didn't have to front the ad spend, I got the money up front. And with all of that cash flow, I was able to scale so much quicker because I was able to hire and build a really strong team for fulfillment. I was able to spend money on ads and fill my calendar, and I was actually able to profit money and pay myself, and really the list goes on and on. So you have to understand, the problems that actually stop you don't get fixed by switching over to pay per appointment. That's really the thesis of this entire video. If your market doesn't trust you, right? If your prospect looks you up when you reach out to them or when they see an ad and they don't see an agency that they feel like can solve their problems, if they don't see an agency that looks different than all of the other people in the market and all the other noise, well, then your offer isn't going to fix that. If you're not consistently in front of them, like if you don't have consistent outbound happening every day, if you're not running ads and actually getting in front of your target market, well, your offer and just changing your offer and adding in a new risk reversal isn't going to change that. If your sales process isn't dialed in, if you're not getting on sales calls and doing the same process every single time, where you're running a thorough discovery, building all the pain points, widening the gap between where they are now and where they want to be, bringing them through a demo deck that shows them exactly what you're going to do for them and how the system's going to help them, well then again, fixing your offer and changing your offer and adding a risk reversal isn't going to fix any of these problems. So should you switch? If you look strong online and if you look credible, if you're doing everything you can be doing to get appointments, and if you have a solid sales process and you still aren't scaling, then go ahead and switch to pay per lead or pay per appointment. But the truth of the matter is, if you're doing all these things, which is exactly what I did to scale my agency, look strong online, doing everything that I could do to get appointments, and had a rock solid dialed in sales process, you're not even going to want to switch your offer, because you're going to be scaling, and you're going to be scaling faster than you can even handle if you have all three of these boxes checked. But for whatever reason, if you have these three boxes checked and you're still not scaling, then sure, go ahead and test a pay per lead or pay per appointment offer. But if not, then it's not going to change anything. It's not going to make sales easier, and it won't open you up to new clients, and you're definitely not going to scale any faster, because regardless of what kind of offer you sell, you still have to look good online and earn the trust of your market. You still have to book consistent calls every single day and be doing all of the things that you can do in order to do that. Cold outbound on email, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and other platforms, running ads, even if it's not with high budgets, to get in front of your target market, and you need a dialed in sales process. If you don't have those things, regardless of what your offer is, you're never going to scale. So that's it for the training. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that at least gave you something to think about before you go ahead and switch to pay per lead or pay per appointment. If you want to work one-on-one with me to build your positioning, your offer, your lead gen, your sales, and your fulfillment, a lot of the stuff that we talked about in this video, hit the first link in the description or go to agencyclients.com. I'm going to work one-on-one with you to build all of those systems out directly into your agency. All the systems, by the way, that I used to close 771 clients and collect over $5 million in cash. If you want information on that, hit the first link in the description or go to agencyclients.com. Also, be sure to connect with me over on Instagram at John Grows Agencies. You can find that in the description as well. Feel free to message me there if you have any questions. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.